This is Burke. What is up, Flick fans, and welcome back to my channel. That's right, my last name is the name of the place where they are in the movie. No, today we are talking about How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. I absolutely love this series. The first two movies are fantastic. I was so looking forward to this film. Did it live up to my expectations, and is it going to live up to yours? If you guys don't know how my reviews work, I like to talk about the movie and then give you my score. Let's talk about How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. So when Hiccup discovers Toothless isn't the only Night Fury, he must seek the Hidden World, a secret dragon utopia, before a hired tyrant named Grimmel finds it first. Like I said, I think this series is just fantastic so far. The first two films were some of my favorite movies of that year, some of my favorite animated movies of all time, and they're ones that I want to go back to because I love diving deep and exploring this world. It's such a great fantasy epic. And even now, I know people that look at these films and they still haven't watched it because they say, well, it's an animated movie. It's not gonna be as good as Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones. And okay, that's a bad comparison because Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones are fantastic, but How to Train Your Dragon is also fantastic. It is a fantasy epic. And when we are talking astounding animation, this is always a franchise that comes to my mind, and it is only elevated in How to Train Your Dragon 3. Let's talk about how this movie looks, because visually, from that standpoint, it is stunning. Just stunning. And I said this about the prior two films, they were fantastic, but I do believe visually this is the best of the bunch. The subtle things that they do with the characters, the backgrounds, the landscapes, some of these shots that literally looked like an actual camera moving along the ocean, moving through the sky. There is one shot in particular that comes to mind. In the film, there's this hole in the ocean and the water is going down like a giant waterfall around the edge of it, and there is this shot where they're riding the dragons around that hole, and just the camera work and the movement. I know it's an animated movie, just the way they made it look, it was beautiful. My eyes got really big, and like I said, my jaw dropped. I'm like, this is stunning. Visually fantastic. Everything they did with the visuals, the color correction, all of it. Technically, guys, you can't go wrong with this series. If you're looking for beautiful animation, start with the first one, move your way up, because as we progress through the years, technology gets better, so the farther we get with this, the better it's going to be. And this movie, I'm not going to say it's perfect, because how many movies are perfect, right? But from a visual standpoint, this is as close as you're ever going to get. Now let's get into the story. That's what you guys want to know about. Let's talk about how this is a tender coming-of-age story, and a lot of kids are going to learn so many lessons from this movie. When I walk into a film like this, I want a few things. One in particular is, what is the target audience going to get out of this? And I do believe kids and adults alike will get a lot out of this movie. The humor is there, the same level of humor that we saw in the other two movies. Now, I don't think certain characters work as well as they did in the other two films. There are some jokes that don't necessarily land. One character in particular, a little too much for me, but it was nothing that took away from the rest of the film, just a nitpick. It's not like the Lego movie, joke after joke after joke. It's crazy fast paced. No, this movie moves at its own pace, as the other two do. One thing that I love about this series is it knows how to balance pacing and tone. It never strays, it never does anything that it's not supposed to do, and it keeps that throughout this movie as well. And I love the pacing of this film. Oh my gosh, I was invested the entire time. There was never a moment where I'm like, this is a little bit too much, maybe a little too long. And a lot of the time, I'll have that critique. Something is lasting a bit too long. Maybe this scene should have been a bit shorter. I never felt that way about this movie. Now, some things may have moved a bit quicker than I wanted them to. When you get into the third act, there are a lot of things that happen all at once. You're there, things are happening with the villain, there's a storyline over here, and that last 20-25 minutes moves so much quicker than that first hour and 20 minutes, because the first hour and 20 minutes, you're going from point A and you get to about here. And then that last 25 minutes, you go from here to point B, and it's like, whoa, we went super quick. We're trying to fit in all of these storylines. That's all fine and dandy, but it's just something that you may have to sit back and wrap your head around. If you were to ask me, Austin, what is the main thing you will tell to recommend this film to other people? Tell them about how awesome the character interactions are, the conversations, and the dialogue. The dialogue is so good, but that's why you sign up. Hiccup and Astrid, their dynamic is awesome. Hiccup and Toothless, you sign up because of how cute their relationship. But oh wait, we have a brand new player in this game. We already have a Night Fury, now we have a Light Fury, and let me tell you what, I was afraid this was going to get a bit gimmicky, kind of like the Minions or what they do with certain characters in other animated films, but no, this was so cute. They really only play it up for one scene, but for the entire movie, you are so curious as to how they're going to continue to interact, and that dynamic, if you want to call it that, was wonderful to watch. It was so cute. Had the entire audience laughing. The kids were laughing. The adults were laughing, and that's why you go to this movie. You go to this movie to have a good time, and those moments between the Light and the Night Fury were fantastic, and then you get that relationship between those two and Hiccup, and how is that dynamic going to shift and change, and what is going to happen to this relationship, to the reason why you watch this movie in the first place, and that is Hiccup and Toothless. Maybe there's a rift, maybe there's not, but you guys are going to have to watch this movie to find out. And that's another thing about this series. It deals with very personal and emotional topics. Death, relationships, coming of age, learning about yourself along the way, and The Hidden World delivered that. I feel like everyone in that theater learned something about themselves, me included. I'm like, wow, that's deep and emotional. Oh, and by the way, you get to the ending, and I said it was a tad bit rushed, but the actual ending of this film, there are going to be tears in the audience. I'm not going to say what happens or how it happens, but there will be tears, and my goodness, guys, what a way to cap off this trilogy. Bravo to everyone that was involved with this trilogy. One of the best trilogies in general of the last decade. It is a fantastic way to do it, and they really capped this trilogy off nicely with the final movie. So yeah, guys, if you were scared, if you were worried, I want to put all of that to ease. This is a great movie. Do I like it as much as the first two? You're gonna have to find out. I'm definitely going to do a ranking of this trilogy, but I will tell you that I really dug How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. I don't know if the story necessarily is as strong, but the lessons, the animation, so many things contributed to why I love this film. And I do. I think I love this movie, and that's why I'm going to give it an 86%. Had a great time watching it. Can't wait to see it again. Can't wait to take the family when it comes out in theaters, and I hope you guys like it as well. Be sure to get down in the comments section. Let me know if you have seen it. Let me know if you are excited for it. We still have a little bit to go before it comes out in theaters, but once you guys see it, come back to this comment section. I will always be watching. That sounded creepy. And let me know if you like it or not once you see it. Thank you so much for watching this video. As always, I will be back tomorrow. There are going to be some trailers dropping during the Super Bowl, and even though I'm going to be watching the Super Bowl, I will be coming in here and doing reactions as those are going on. Be on the lookout for that. You guys are the absolute best, and I'll see you very soon.